Hello everyone. Today we will discuss some more algorithms. So first of all, I would like to tell you. Yesterday, some students have written the algorithm, that is addition of two number or analysis of the previous algorithm, and sent me the screenshot. Okay. So I feel very happy that at least you are responding. You are understanding the concept or not, that is different thing. But at least you are responding. So keep responding. Keep watch the videos. Try to understand all the concepts, and if you have any doubts you can ask me. Okay, you can ask me, I will explain, right? So now we will see the another example of a algorithm, that is to reverse a given number. So to reverse a given number means whatever the number you read, okay, if you reverse that number, then what the output you get, that is the reverse number. For example, 123. So 123 is one number. Okay, so in 123 how many digits are there? 3 digits, 1, 2 and a 3. If there is a 1984, 1984 is one whole number. So in that number how many digits are there? 4 digits, 1984. These are the number of digits. Okay, if you reverse 123, so digit by digit the number will be reversed. So if you reverse 123, then you will get 321. 321. The number of digits must be same, 3, and whatever the number you have read, the exactly you will get the reverse of that number. Okay, so for that there is a algorithm. So the name of the algorithm is to reverse an integer, and in step 1 read n. Step 2 initialization. Initialization means here the number, whatever the number you are reading, so that number we are assigning to one temporary variable, that is a temp. So you might be asking, already we have read one number, that is n number, so why you have taken temp variable? So during process, the number what we have read, that number may be changed. Okay, that number will be changed. Okay, so during that process I am taking the variable temp. So this is a temporary variable, we are not printing that variable or the number, just we are using as a temporarily, right? So n is equal to, temp is equals to n. In step 3, repeat until n is greater than 0 and compute the reverse. In step 3, so this is the logic to reverse a number, or this is the so where we are writing the actual statements or the instructions to reverse the given number, right? So initially reverse is equal to 0. So reverse the number only we are calculating or we are computing, so initially it must be 0. So reverse is equal to 0 while n is equal to 0, n is greater than 0. While n is greater than 0 means repeat this condition until n is not greater than 0. Understanding? N is not greater than 0 means if n is greater than 0, then only it execute the 3 statements. If n is not greater than 0, then it will not execute anything, simply it stopped processing. Okay, so in step 3 it repeat until n is greater than 0, and in that we are computing the reverse number. So begin. So begin what we are executing? 3 statements. Digit is equals to n mod 10. So I have already told the percent symbol, that is modulus operator, is used to find the remainder. Okay, so remainder. And in the second statement, reverse is equals to reverse into 10 plus digit. So every time to divide, to find the remainder, to find the quotient, we have taken a 10, that constant value. That is compulsory how to take. You should not take the different number, that is 20 or 30. Okay, so this is the 10 number to reverse a given number, right? So the third statement is n is equal to n slash 10. So slash is used to find the quotient of the number. Okay, so here see the difference between modulus and a division operator. Both are the arithmetic operators. Okay, we will discuss the operators later in the next further units. Okay, so about the operator. So percent symbol is used to find the remainder, and the division symbol is used to find the quotient. Okay, here these 3 statements are repeatedly processing, repeatedly executing until n is greater than, until n is not greater than 0. If n is equal to 0 or n is less than 0, then it stop processing. Okay, and once the condition is get false, once the condition is not satisfied, then it will come out of that while loop or from the step 3. Then in step 4, print the given number and its reverse. So what is the given number? Means whatever the input value you have read, that is the given number. And what is the reverse number? After processing, whatever the output you got, that number is a reverse number. Okay, so the both number you have to print here, and in step 5 it is stop the algorithm. Okay, so first see this algorithm. Next we'll in the next slide we'll see how the algorithm is executes by taking one example. So let's say n is equals to 123, that is n value, and in the second step what we are doing, we are assigning that 123 to temp. So now temp is equals to 123. In step 3 we are executing the statements, but before that reverse is equal to 0, and the condition should be satisfied while n is greater than 0. So what is n value? 123. Is 123 is greater than 0? Yes, 123 is a whole number, so 123 is greater than 0. If this condition is true, if this condition is satisfying, then begin. So in begin it execute 3 statements. So in the first statement it is executing digit. So here digit is nothing but a reminder. Okay, instead of a reminder or r, I have taken a digit. Means here digit by digit we are reversing the number. Okay, digit is equal to 123 mod 10. So 123 mod 10. So 123 by 10, 10 ones are and 10 twos are. So 12 is the quotient and 3 is the remainder. Okay, second step, reverse is equal to reverse into 10 plus digit. So reverse is initially 0. 0 into 10 is 0 plus 3. 0 plus 3 is 3. So reverse is equal to 3. That is the first digit. And third statement is n is equal to n divided by 10. So n is 123. N 123 divided by 10 is 12. So 12 is the quotient. 10 ones are, 10 twos are. Okay. So now the value of n is equal to 12. So n is equal to 12. So again go to while loop. Now in the second loop n is equal to 12. So 12 is greater than 0. Yes, 12 is greater than 0. Then enter into while loop, means begin. In begin again there are 3 statements. So execute all these 3 statements. So again digit is equals to n mod 10. That is now n value is 12. 12 mod 10. So 12 divided by 10. So 10 ones are 10. 12 minus 10 is 2. So 2 is the remainder, that is assigning to digit. Reverse. Reverse is equal to reverse into 10 plus digit. So reverse is, what is reverse? 3. So that previously calculated. 3 into 10. 3 into 10 is 30. 30 plus 2, 32. So now reverse is equals to 32. Third statement is n is equals to 12 mod 10. So the value of n is 12. 12 divided by 10 is 1. That is 1 is the quotient. Okay. So this is the second loop. Now n value is 1. So again 1 is greater than 0. Yes, still the condition is satisfying. Again execute the 3 statements. Digit is equal to n mod 10. So n means 1 mod 10. So there is no remainder. So you simply take the whole number, that is 1. So now digit is equal to 1. So reverse is equals to reverse into 10 plus digit. Okay. So reverse is equal to what is reverse? 32. 32 into 10. 32 into 10 is 320. 320 plus 1 is 321. Okay. And third statement is n is equal to n slash 10. So n is 1. 1 divided by 10 is equal to 0.1. Okay. Again go to while loop. Now n value is equal to 0. That is nothing but 0.01. Okay. So now the condition is getting false, right? So it will not execute these 3 statements. It stop processing, end, and come to the fourth statement. Okay. Now in fourth statement it prints the given number and a reversed number. So what is given number? That initially what the number we have read, that is 123. After reversing means In the third loop, whatever the reverse number you got, that number is the nothing but reverse number, that is 321. Okay, so n is equal to 123, reverse number is equal to 321, and step 5, stop the algorithm. Okay, so here it is a little bit confusing to understand this algorithm. So what you have to do, step by step you try to analyze. Okay, right from the step 1 to step 5, how the number is reading, how the numbers are executing, how the condition is tested. Okay, according to the condition, how the statements are executed. Just write the numbers, take some example and try to trace the algorithm, then you will definitely understand. Okay, next concept is flow chart. And one more thing, again there are 2 more algorithms are left, but I will explain as and when that concept of those algorithm will comes in the unit, in the next unit. Okay, we will discuss in that time only. Next concept is a flow chart. So as we know, the algorithm is a one designing technique to solve a particular problem. So flow chart is also a designing technique to solve a particular problem, but in a different way. Okay, so the way we write the instructions or the statements in the algorithm means how we represent the algorithm in the form of some statements or English like statements. So here flowchart is a graphical representation of an algorithm, or it is a geometrical representation of an algorithm. Means whatever the instructions you are using in the problem, whatever the statements you are using in the problem, so everything will be represent in the form of some geometrical figure. Instead of writing statement, so that statements are representing in the figures, that is a geometrical figure. So here you can see it is a blueprint of an algorithm. It is just a blueprint of an algorithm. Okay, so first algorithm, next step is the flow chart. So by seeing this you can easily understand how your algorithm is executed. Okay, so algorithm is again step by step procedure. So here also step by step procedure you are following, but in the form of a geometrical figure. Okay, so to draw the flow chart, here we have some geometrical figures, okay, or diagrams. So there are 3 columns here you can see. The first column is a geometrical figure, means which geometrical figure we are using to represent, and the second column name of that geometrical figure, and in third column what is the function of that geometrical figure. Okay, the first one is a oval. So it is seems like a oval. Oval means it start and stop. The function of a oval is start and stop the flow chart. Okay, to start the flow chart and to stop the flow chart we use the same figure, that is oval. Second one is a parallelogram. So parallelogram is used to read the input value and write the output value. To read something or to display something we use the same symbol or same figure, that is parallelogram. Okay, third one is a rectangle. So rectangle is used for a processing. If you are doing something, if you are performing something, if there is any calculations, so for that purpose we use a rectangle for a processing purpose. Diamond. So diamond is used for a decision making. So decision making means if there are any numbers are checking between 2 numbers, okay, that is largest of 2 number, smallest of 2 number, okay, like that. If you are doing any decision making, either this or that, so we use a diamond. Then next is a arrows. Arrows means left, right, top, bottom. So these are the arrows to use for a connections. Connections means to connect between the figures. Okay, if there is no connection, there is no flow chart. Simply there are some figures. Okay, if you connect each and every figure, then only it become a valid flow chart. So there should be connection between each geometrical figures. The next one is a small circle. So small circle is used for continuation. Continuation means, so for you are drawing a flow chart and that flow chart is not fit in your the page, the particular page. Then what you do, you continue that flow chart into the next page. Okay, so to to continue to for continuation purpose we are using small circle. We just write that in that previous page plus symbol in that circle, and in the next page also write a plus symbol in that circle. It indicates the continuation of the previous page. Okay, that is a continuation. And the last one is a hexagon. So hexagon means it is a repetition. If you are repeating the statements, if you are displaying the numbers repeatedly, then we use a hexagon geometrical figure. Okay, so these are the basic geometrical figure: oval, parallelogram, rectangle, diamond, arrows, small circle, and a hexagon. Okay, so when we write a flowchart, then you will understand how these geometrical figures are used. So this is about a flowchart. So in the next video we will try to draw some flowchart, okay, with some example, right? So thank you.